Medic Slog, Week 12, Year 0. Hey guys, so I just got back from a long day of practicing my presentation, and then practicing it some more, and then for good measure, going through it just one more time. And the reason I did that is because I am presenting in front of the senior vice presidents of the company I work at tomorrow. So, as you might be able to guess, Kedi is a little bit nervous. But that's okay. I think I've gone through it so many times at this point that I've nailed it, and it's going to be great. And next time I talk to you, I will let you know how it goes, which will, still be this week, so you'll get an update pretty quickly. But what are we going to be doing? What are we going to be doing in here this week, you might ask? Well, I got an excellent suggestion and you can kind of see it in the bottom left right now. I got an excellent suggestion that I really do need to build myself a house because, it makes sense that at first I was very worried about making sure the community had someplace to go, making sure that we had like a nice blacksmith shop where we could cook our food and gather supplies. And the same thing with farming where, food is kind of essential, like makes the world go round and whatnot, or at least makes Kedi go round. So, but now it's time to settle down somewhere more permanently than the entrance to our mine shaft or the bed in the community center. And that's going to be that house that I'm building right there. And you might ask, well, Kedi, why did you do so much off camera already? And let's just not talk about that, okay? It's very sad, very sad. But we're here now. It's gonna be great. And I hope that you enjoy what we get up to this week. So, just a little bit about, I'm practicing my walking and talking at the same time skills. I still have my boots on because I just have the strangest feeling something might go wrong. Oh, look, I'm totally doing it. Maybe a little bit slow, but that's okay. I'm looking at you though. Anyways, over the weekend, I went rock climbing for the first time in ages. And I used to be an avid rock climber. Not professional, like, I say professional, not like rappelling, with like belays and all that stuff, but just free climbing. It was a ton of fun. There's this one rock we climbed that was, a couple hundred feet, and it was super cool. It felt like you could see off into forever, kind of like at the top of the mountain we were just at. And if you ever wonder why I'm so glad that our village was next to a giant mountain range. Oh, look, a horse. We need to get that horse. Side note. That's why, because Kedi is a big fan. And also earlier this week, which again, unfortunately, there's no video evidence. I built this thing behind me, which is a very small, very small netherwort farm. And I wouldn't even call it a farm, honestly. It's just like a little cove in which there is netherwort growing. But me being me, I couldn't just let it lie in like some danky cave. It had to be like designed at least a little bit nicer. So I replaced all the stone with nether brick. And I think it looks nice. But while I was doing that, of course, that meant I had to go into the nether, which I'm really sorry that you guys weren't there, because despite me just going to that one fortress that's like 2 feet away from the portal, I still managed to almost die because as I was mining the nether brick, I fell through the floor and landed in the lava lake. Fortunately for me, I had a bunch of fire protection armor on, and I had my feather falling boots on, and so by some miracle made it to the shore didn't even die. Yeah, I have never felt so good at Minecraft in my life. So that's kind of all I've been up to without you guys. Sorry about that. Oh, I also spent, let's see if you can guess what I did here. Let's see if you can figure it out. I could leave this like perspective, but I'm having a lot of fun actually walking backwards because we don't have the fancy backwards walking that Java Edition has, but our walking is pretty cool nonetheless. All right, what is different besides the fence location? What is different? If you guessed none of the water is flowing anymore, you are correct. I spent far too many hours figuring out the best method to get rid of all the non-source blocks, at least on the surface of this river. And what I ended up doing is just putting dirt on, putting dirt all on the surface level, like right above where the water is. And then I had placed the water source block against the underside of the dirt block because you need a solid block in order to place a water bucket, which I didn't know until, I was trying to fix this river. But that's also all taken care of. Looking, got a close in on my face there. Hope you like it. Got all that taken care of. I'm going to get back to working on my house. And as you can see, I've done a little bit of the basic terraforming. I say terraforming. What I really mean is, I could just go under the fence. That's fancy. But I don't have my aqua affinity, so it's going to be slow. But I have my depth strider boots. That's not how aqua affinity works, is it? Anyways, done this bit of terraforming, and it's looking pretty okay, I would say. It's definitely not a finished product. Oh, and I don't think I've explained the cobwebs on the sticks. That's just because I don't have a Silk Touch book yet, which means I don't have Silk Touch shears, which means I can't get the cobwebs. But I really want the cobwebs, so I just kind of tried to make them look a little bit less ridiculous than just cobwebs floating in the air. Let me know if you have a better solution to that. Hopefully it gets taken care of in the next couple weeks, but I can't control the success of my enchanting endeavors, unfortunately. So, I'm gonna get back to work on this, and I will probably bring you back in while I'm working on it, or maybe when I'm ready to take a break. See, the trouble with trying to build something and talk at the same time is when you don't like the thing that you just said came out, which, nobody's perfectly articulate all the time, then you lose a bit of the footage that you just recorded. And that's something I've been struggling with the past, 15, 20 minutes or so, because I want to talk about some of the things that went wrong with my presentation today. And it just doesn't come out in a way that I particularly like. So what I think I'm going to do instead is just, give you a little update, which is that the presentation, despite going fairly well, did not go as well as I would have hoped otherwise. But I don't think we made like massive fools of ourselves or anything. So, I'm back home for about an hour before I'm going to have to leave and we do have a bit of flowing water there that I'm going to have to fix. I can't believe I missed like one spot. But anyways, I'm home for about an hour or so before I have to head off to a therapy appointment. And, I'm not expecting it to be too bad because I have been doing better recently. in particular dealing with the PTSD aspect of my depression. I mean, it's not, unfortunately, there's no miracle panacea or anything, but, you know, some of the strategies that I've been learning more recently, I have found a lot more effective in mitigating those challenges, which, you know, is nice to finally be able to say that I'm making progress in that area when it's been, for me, it's been years since this started. And it's nice to be finally starting to get some resolution on that. Okay, so I think we wanna put that like that. How's that look? See, this bit I didn't fully, unlike the rest of the house, this bit I didn't fully realize in the creative world, just because it's like super flat, and so it doesn't, like, I didn't build it high enough off the ground to incorporate this bit. I think maybe I just don't need, these fence posts. This little dock is going to be for both a fishing area, which, you know, we will do some fishing eventually, even though I honestly don't think I've even crafted a fishing pole yet, and it's been a few months. I'm just not a huge fisherman. Whenever I would go down to the lake with my best friend when I was, 13, 14, her dad would spend the whole day fishing, and we would go cliff jumping. And because cliff jumping is, I mean, now that I'm older, I could probably appreciate fishing more. But at the time, what would you rather do all day? Jump off cliffs or sit in a boat and try and catch fish? Exactly. You would want to jump off the cliff, unless you're afraid of heights. But don't worry, I can help you out there. This is one of my favorite stories to tell, actually, so you're gonna get to hear it too. But the first time I ever went cliff jumping, I went with this friend of mine who is a girl I was just mentioning, who we were best friends. And she talked up this cliff jumping experience like you wouldn't believe. Like, the way she told it, she had done it dozens of times. Like, every time she went down to the lake, she went cliff jumping with her, brother, if her brother was there, or she just, like, went by herself. Like, coming off as, like, the expert. So I was a little bit afraid because I'd never done it before. I mean, you don't have to be afraid of heights to be cautious about throwing yourself off of a cliff into water that's like 30, 40 feet below. But, oh, wait, this is not how I want this. Is this how I want this roof? Yeah, it is. It's the other side that's different. Anyways, so she, like, talked it up like she was this, like, big expert. And I'm sure you might be able to guess where this is going, but it turns out she was, in fact, not so much of an expert as she would have had me believe. So we got there, and we go up to the high cliff, and I'm like, so do you mind going first? Just because I'm a little bit nervous, me being my first time and all. And she's like, then the story comes out that she has never actually jumped off this higher cliff before. Because there were two cliffs. There's one that was like, 30, 40 feet. And then there was one that was like about the height of like a high dive that you might get at a swimming pool. So not the ones that are like 50, 100 feet in the air, but like, maybe 10, 15. So kind of like just going off a slightly higher diving board. So she's been off that one. She hasn't been off the big one. And I'm like a little bit unhappy with her because, I thought she'd been misleading me a little bit. But, I was not going to be defeated by this unexpected setback. So I said, all right, that's okay. I'm still going to do it. And I was terrified. So my strategy for trying to get myself to jump was to throw my flip-flops off the cliff, and then I would jump after them. That was not an effective strategy. That did not convince me to jump. But it did almost lose me with my flip-flops. But eventually, you know, I finally worked up the courage to jump. And it was awesome. It was so awesome. So I did it a few times, and then I went back to my friend, and I was like, hey, like, you should totally do this. It's so worth it. You know, it's not as hard as you think. And she's like, okay, I'll try. I think I can do this. And let's see, 1, 2, 1 here. Sorry, easily distracted. So she gets up there, and she like she'll inch forward towards the cliff. She'll be like standing like half off the edge, and then she'll psych herself out and stop. Or a couple of times she would run up to the edge of the cliff, like she was just gonna hurl herself off, and then she would like stop herself at the last second, like kind of wobble a bit, and then stand at the top of the cliff. And I'm not sure how long this went on for. I'm sure my memories exaggerate how long this was going on, but I do know for a fact that I jumped like once or twice while she was doing this. So eventually, you know, I got to the point where I got back and I was like, so are you still planning on jumping? And she's like, yeah, I am. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I'm just building up to it. So me being the terrible / totally awesome, in my opinion, friend that I was, I decided, well, how about I just help her along a bit? So the next time she was doing that thing where she was like hovering over the edge of the cliff, like, you know, hanging on by her heels, basically, I, you know, gave her a little bit of a love tap to help her along. And she screamed a lot, and she fell into the water, and it was great. She enjoyed it. When she stopped hating me, she had fun, and she was able to actually jump off the cliff herself after that. And, you know, from then on, it was just, yay, cliff jumping, let's do this all the time. But I think it's just one of my favorite stories to tell, just because, I mean, I would never do that to somebody who I didn't know that well. Like, we were basically inseparable. Like, I half lived at her house, and she half lived at my house. Like, sometimes I would just, like, walk to her house, hang out for the day, and it would just get to be late. And I'd be like, so, you know, I'd call my parents and be like, so I'm just going to stay the night at Ronnie's place. That was her name, was Ronnie. Is that okay? And my parents would be like, yeah, no, that's fine. Just, you know, make sure you know, I don't know, actually. They were pretty chill, so there was never really an issue. But I would never do that to somebody who wasn't a really good friend like that. But it's so fun whenever, you know how you have to play those stupid icebreaker games sometimes that are like 2 truths and a lie, or, you know, things like guess which person goes with this fact, that sort of thing. My go-to is always, I push somebody off a cliff. Because it's technically true. I did, in fact, push Ronnie, off a cliff. But the circumstance, like, without any explanation, that sounds a lot worse than it actually is. And it was still pretty rotten of me. Like, I am under no illusions that Ronnie was not furious at me for the first, you know, for the next, like, 20 minutes. And she definitely gave me, I'm trying to think of she definitely would reference what had happened. Anytime I would reference something that she didn't want to do, or she would reference something that I didn't want to do. She'd be like, "So, Kedi, like, you know, you threw me off a cliff that one time. The least you can do is do X thing that she would want to do." And it was all in good fun, of course. Like, she didn't actually, like, if it was something I really didn't want to do, she would never push the issue. Or if, like, with the cliff jumping, if it was something she really didn't want to do, I still would have been tempted to push her because, you know, she had said she was really into it. But I wouldn't have pushed the issue. See what I did there? Pushed. Hey, that was bad. I'm not destined to be a comedian. Although I do like to think of myself as being rather funny. You know, on a good day. I don't even remember how I got on this tangent, but I'm going to get back to building this a bit off camera. And when I see you again, we will probably be finishing up the interiors. Alrighty, so we're going to finish off this week with a bit of a tour of what we've managed to accomplish. So as you can see, the fence, internal fence along the river is gone, as is our favorite dirt bridge. Mostly because both of those, I didn't think they really fit in. And with the water acting as a natural barrier, I'm hoping that should prevent any issues with mobs ruining our day. So let's head down to the house itself, if I can remember how to get down. And we can take a look at what we've managed to accomplish this week. So we've had a chance to look at the outside of this place already. You know, that rain is very distracting. How about I take a nap real quick? Hopefully get rid of the rain. I put a bed right there because I know myself well enough to know that half the time I will be too lazy to walk up the stairs to take a nap. And there goes our favorite door opening friends again. Anyways, you've seen most of the outside before, but I did put some of the finishing details on. And kind of one of my favorite things is using the fence gates as kind of like a decoration for the end of vlogs. Like, I don't know why I really like the way that looks, but I think it finishes off the, you know, kind of vlog end very well, as opposed to just having the log itself. I finished up the back area, so to terraform this a bit, added some hidden lighting. I am such a huge fan of the half slabs being light transparent. It just makes hiding lighting so much easier. Like, how many of these have lighting under them? How many of them don't? Can you guess? Because not all of them do, obviously, but I don't know. I think it just makes a very nice way to add in some lighting without having to ruin your terrain. And I did add in a little bit of greenery, and a bit of lighting, and a sheep and a boat. Well, I added the boat, and then the sheep decided it wanted to tag along. So let's do the inside of the house now. So the first floor, as you've probably noticed, we now have a new friend. And this guy might just get me to... Here, how about, let's get your attention. What are you doing, buddy? You're a bit distracted, aren't you? Oh, whoops. Where are you going? Oh, poor guy. He's found love, but get over it. Alright, well, we'll just let him roam around while we do the tour of the house. He might get me to actually go fishing, because, you know, we want to give him a proper name. So if you have any name suggestions, please do let me know, and I will take them into consideration. Because as you've noticed from my naming scheme of Leroy the llama and Daryl the donkey, both of whom are now missing, rest in peace, I tend to make snap decisions on names. So if you have a name in mind for something that might be a bit more permanent, let me know. So you got a nice little couch, oven/fireplace with a stovetop, and an anvil hanging from the ceiling. I think it kind of works as an overhead fan because you know when you're cooking stuff, inevitably you're going to get steam going all over the place if you're like me and you don't own any lids for any of your pots. So, you know, you got to have the fan there to suck up all that. And, you know, if you accidentally burn something, not that I would ever do anything like that, it'll prevent the fire alarm from going off. I already mentioned the kind of bed that we have hidden in the corner here. And I think it also can double as a bit of a day lounge. So like a futon where you can just, you know, you walk in, you're a bit tired, but couch is full, you can go chill in the bed. But the real exciting part, my favorite part, is my bedroom upstairs. So first we've got the cauldron full of pink water, and that is what I use to dye my hair. Because, you know, it doesn't get this color. It doesn't get this color on its own, you know. It takes a lot of work. I know you guys probably thought that, like, I was born with pink hair, but nope, it takes work. A nice potion brewing stand for any other witchcraft that we need to do besides the pink hair dye. Crafting table. Queen size bed. You know, I've never actually owned a queen size bed before. It's kind of one of those things that, you know, once I have my own place, I think that's going to be the first thing that I invest in, is a nice large queen size bed. And of course it's purple to kind of go with some of my favorite colors. Over here we've got the required clock, the required compass, and then I decided to start adding these to some of the builds we've been doing where, you know, we mention when we did the build and what we did. So this is kind of the marker for this house. So week 12, our starter house. Of course, we got a nice painting over the windows. Flowers. Way to turn off the lights at night so you can get some proper sleep. Bookshelves, because, you know, where would Kedi be without her book collection? I went out to dinner yesterday, and it was just me. You know, I just kind of, coming back from my appointment, I was like, you know, I deserve some food for getting through the week. And so I went out to dinner, but I had a couple books on me, because I'm reading one book for a book club, and I'm reading another book just, you know, for fun. And so I had the book club book out, but, like, I set it off to the side when my food got up, because I didn't want to, like, stain it or anything, because, I mean, not that I want to stain any book, but I really, really, really didn't want to stain this book. So then I started reading my, you know, just trashy, like, YA fiction novel that I had on me instead. And this guy comes up to me and we start talking about, like, history and reading and all that stuff. And it was actually really nice. I really like just having random conversations with people like that. It's very fun. It's kind of like a nice way to end your day, I think. But yeah, so you got the required bookshelves up here. We've got a bunch of little grate windows, so you can open them to let more air in, close them to just kind of have the standard amount of air coming in. And that's the upstairs. So what I really like about this house is that we kind of have everything that we need, all, like, centrally located in one place. So, you know, beds, clock or a compass if we ever lose either of those and we die and we need to get back to where we're going pretty quickly, we can just grab and go. hair dye because that is obviously essential. You know, between like every week, I just dunk my head in there, swish around, and like magic, right back to its proper shade. Brewing if you ever need to do anything of that, like that. Furnace for just when we have those small cook jobs that we don't want to use our big guy on. We do need to build a better one of those one of these days. And of course, our favorite new companion, the as yet unnamed dog. And that was only like a couple minute detour into the. Oh yeah, and the other guys have been very fond of our house. Like they keep wandering in, kind of checking the place out. It was really hard when I was trying to put the carpeting in because they kept moving to where I wanted to place carpet. And I think pretty sure they were just trolling me. Typical. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Anyways, we just went like right over there to get a dog. We just kind of had to stand at the top of a hill for a few minutes and look around until we spotted one. And pretty happy with that. So that's all I've got time for this week. Let me know what you think of the house. Let me know if there's anything that you would like to see more of, like to see less of. You don't like story time with Ketabanya, let me know, because although I love storytelling, I recognize that maybe not everyone would love storytelling with Ketabanya. Alrighty guys, just one final note as the sun begins to set in the background. It's been an interesting week. It's good sometimes to focus on your needs as opposed to the needs of everyone else. Because, can't help others till you help yourself. And that can be a really difficult lesson to learn. At least if you're anything like me. So, until I'm able to find you, stay strong and carry on.